Look at, we got our background back. Look at that. I don't know how, but apparently, well, we haven't done the show in like 4 weeks, so like StreamYard's updated itself.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, the dumpster fire.
The show that is the dumpster fire, right?
Well,
Boy,
allegedly.
it has been a long time since I've been on YouTube. So hello to everyone. Hello. It's been a while since we've been on. I was sick and things came up. Dan came to see me. Dan and my parents came to see me. So there's reasons that the show hasn't been on, but we're going to be back on today. So how's it going, Dana?
Going fine. You got music. I can hear that.
Yeah.
It might be a hair distracting. I don't know.
At least it's not like, certain kind of music in the background.
Oh my.
Well, hold on. There's other ones if you don't like that. If you're going to be distracted.
Well, no, it's not. I think it's just distracting in general.
Oh, just hold on.
Yeah.
Is that better for you? Is that less distracting?
That's going to put me to sleep.
How about this? No, I can't hear that.
Oh. It's
this
like,
one.
This
This
one's
called
Time Over the Rockies. Like,
This one's called Feeding the Ducks.
yeah. Like when Michael Scott does it with the turtleneck.
Yes.
Or he's feeding the pigeons, but he says the east or whatever for the winter.
This is called Lofi. This is night driving.
Oh.
This is acoustic cinema. All right, enough of that.
All of it's better than rap. All of it.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll just add in the intro music. People could just jam out the entire time. I saw you doing the air snare drum and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what the hell are we talking about tonight anyway?
Yeah.
That's right.
The music's distracting.
Ah, fine. I'll turn it off.
Yeah.
Turn it off. All right. There. Is that better? There we go.
Yes.
In that segment, we lost 2 viewers. So there you go.
I'm just happy we had 2.
Yeah, I was shocked that that's at 2 instead of 1 or 0. So I mean, whatever. All right. This gag is going to last about 2 seconds, but we'll do it anyway.
We already said it's a gag, so what's
or
the
maybe
point?
It's not a gag. Maybe there's purple hair under my hat, and I have a Starbucks with me, and
no.
I keyed a couple cars. You never know.
Well, look, here's the thing. Everyone knows that you fight fascism and a dictatorship by destroying the property of innocent people. That obviously is the anti-fascist way, or the people that you don't agree with, you just do some sort of violence to them. That's obviously anti-fascist, obviously.
Well, I think I always thought it was funny that the people's cars that are getting keyed are registered Democrats.
Well, cannibalization sometimes is necessary for the greater good, right?
Hell, these people eat their young anyway, so what does it matter, right?
Well, right. I mean, if you're willing to abort an unborn child, there's no limits to what you're willing to do.
Right. Okay, so April Fools, no, we're not. Do we regret our vote for Donald J. Trump? I don't know. Dan, I'll ask you first. Do you regret your
hell no.
vote for...
No,
hell no.
Oh.
Hell no. Anybody that I didn't really have time to make a cool thumbnail, but
no, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think my phone's charging. That's trouble. But anyway, yeah.
We don't want this to be a one-man show. I've done that before. It doesn't go well. That's bad.
Yeah. I have it turned here, and I'm just wondering what happens if. It is charging.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. See, I can't see if it's charging unless I turn my phone the other way, and then Is that distracting?
Yeah, it's very distracting. But you can leave it like that if you want. I don't care. There's one person watching. It's not like it matters.
Oh, that's probably mom and dad.
It probably is mom
They-
and dad.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just leave it like that. So why don't you regret it? Is there, in all seriousness, is there anything that Trump's done in the last, oh, what is it, like 60 days? No more than that, 70, 80 days. Is there, in all seriousness, is there anything that he's done that you haven't agreed with?
There's, I think maybe one thing, the IVF stuff I don't care for. Like, and I
What's the
understand,
IVF stuff? Explain what the IVF stuff is.
so that's for like if a woman's infertile or can't have kids,
Oh, yeah.
at least according to the doctor. Um, because doctors are so wonderful, and they just know so much. Give them pills. That they can do like an artificial, insemination or whatever. Like on paper, it sounds good, but the problem is like a lot of preg, I guess pregnancies do end up happening, but they end up like kind of getting rid of them essentially, for various reasons, and so it ends up aborting a lot of the embryos, which or getting rid of them, and so it's kind of like a lot of little abortions happening in so many
Right,
words.
right, right.
Um,
I think
I
that's,
think what I would say is I understand like the tragedy of wanting to have a child and you can't, but some things are God's will and some things simply aren't.
correct.
And also, I would say just because a doctor said something, it doesn't necessarily make it the hardened truth. You know what I mean? Like it's not a set in stone truth. So I think if you continue to try to have kids and you just didn't, then it may just not be God's will. And look, I don't
Right,
have kids and I don't like it, but some things, and not saying that it's not God's will for my life, it's just that sometimes things just don't happen that we want to happen. So I don't think going to these extra measures necessarily are a good thing. Again, on paper, it sounds nice,
yeah.
but I don't think people dig enough into it. But other than that, no, I don't really know of anything else that's bothered me. This darn thing.
The IVF thing, that's kind of been a thing for a while because it's like I remember that being a thing, and there's such a fine line between the government getting involved in that and then playing God. And it seems like it's a bit of a playing God kind of thing where you're like, because correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there like a little bit of a selective process with that too, where you can kind of select what's what and how it goes? I don't know. I'm not very educated on that, but
Kind of
you
like
know,
crossing breeds with a dog or something. There may be, there may not be,
yeah, yeah,
but and I think that's the thing. If it's not happening naturally, then it's
yeah,
just you have to
right,
let it be.
yeah,
Because a lot,
yeah,
a lot of people in life don't want to take no for an answer. We've all done that. I mean, it just because it's that, it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, they're horrible people. It's just that some at times in life you want something so
yeah.
bad you're willing to go to
Well,
extra lengths, but you have to stop and say, well, you know, but
yeah. I actually do have a little bit of experience in this subject because this was a thing. It wasn't like the IVF thing, but it was like the situation where, you know, okay, I don't know if I want to go down this road. Never mind. Forget it. Forget it. I'm not going to go down that road. But well, the point is, like you said, sometimes it's God's will and sometimes it isn't. And the point, the fact of the matter is that it's like when it is God's will, it's going to happen. You know.
right, right,
So
and
there you go.
yeah, because we all do it in life where we want our will, and it's not like we're waking up one day like, oh, my will is going to happen. It's not necessarily like you're even thinking of it. It just it's human nature. It's that selfish human nature where, and well, I shouldn't say selfish necessarily on that because that's it. Wanting a child isn't completely selfish. It's because a lot of people want children, yeah, for themselves, but because they get to have a child then and they get to raise the child, and I mean that's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
again I don't have kids, so I can't take a stance on it, but that's probably like the best thing ever. Like, so I understand the motivation, like I get it, but and that's a hard pill to swallow, I'm sure for a lot of people.
Oh,
Um,
definitely, definitely. Well, and it really, I think it really messes with people too when you see all the shitty parents out there and all the people that
well,
don't give a crap about their kid, and it's like, geez,
right,
why is it that these, people treat their kids like crap or worse. And it's like, well, why do all these people have kids, but I don't? Like I've said that about you. It's like I've seen all these bad people having kids, but it's like Dan doesn't. And it's like, well, he'd be a much better father than 90% of these douchebags that do have kids. And it's hard for us to understand, but there's a reason behind everything. You know.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of people that maybe aren't Christian would be like, well, what could God's reason possibly be for not blessing someone with a child? It's like, well, no human can sit there and have that answer. I mean,
No,
I
no,
think
no.
what I won't go down the road for you, but I think what you were going to potentially allude to was prior experiences in your life where there were no children when maybe you wanted there to be, but then
Hmm.
certain things ended.
Hmm.
And so it's like, oh, well, good thing there aren't children.
Well,
You know,
yeah, and what happened there? So I'll just go into it a little bit. I won't go in like to
I
all the
wasn't meaning to
details.
press you, but it's
No,
just
you're
like,
good. You're good. So well, I did want kids with my ex-wife, but it didn't happen. So I thought for then that it wasn't really in the cards for me. Well, I get remarried after divorced, and I have kids, no problem. That's
well, there you go.
total God thing. Because if I did
Yeah.
have kids in the previous marriage, that would have been a freaking nightmare because of the way her
Well, look what
family
happened.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like God saved the way you see it is in hindsight, God saved me from a whole lot of garbage
Yes.
by denying me a child when I thought I wanted it the most. And honestly, frankly, I was too immature, and so was she. So it's hard to look back on it, and our mom could vouch for this too because she's had the same. I've had the same conversation with her about this, to where it's like, okay, in the end, it ends up being a blessing of what God didn't give you. People don't, they fail to realize that God not giving you something can be as much of a blessing as God giving you something.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because if it imagine like giving someone something and then and while it's going to fail.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
And that
oh,
would have
yeah,
been a perfect
the 12 year
example
old.
of something going to fail. Yep.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the 12-year-old's so excited he got a car, but should you really give a 12-year-old a car? You know what I mean?
No,
Like, it's not.
no, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, it's just it's very hard. Obviously, with someone like not having a child is extraordinarily difficult, I imagine. But there's a lot of things in life that you maybe we don't have that. Yeah, it's hard. Of course, it's not fun, and a lot of people can say it's not fair, but God never said life was fair. It's
Right.
just you have to have
There's,
that trust where
yep, yep,
because when you're trying to force issues in life or manipulate situations to go your way, you're on a really slippery slope and going down a bad rabbit hole because you get more desensitized to wrongdoing. I mean, you're willing to do this and you're willing to do that and this and hurt people or do this. It's just sometimes you got to stop and say, oh God, if that's not your will, then so be it. And if it
yep.
is, then hey, great, this darn phone. Um, so,
Well,
but
and that ends up being the whole thing where God's not the genie in the bottle. We've talked about this before. It's like, God's going to say no about a lot of stuff, and you're not going to understand it, but, maybe you will later. Or maybe you won't. Maybe you'll never understand it, you know. Maybe you'll never maybe I'll never understand why I'm not a professional baseball player. Maybe that. I kind of know why cuz I'm not good enough, but that's
yeah,
the thing. It's like some people can't get to that point. They get so hung up on why they're not, they don't stop to think that maybe God's saving them from something bad that could happen if they were,
right.
So,
Well, and that is very true. And there's also cases where we think, oh, well, it's just not God's will, but we just haven't tried or we haven't put the effort in or we keep giving up on something.
right, right.
Like I consider and say, oh, it's not God's will for me to get married, but if I haven't tried to meet a girl ever, if I haven't left my couch,
Yep.
it could be God's will for me to get married, but I'm just not doing anything.
Right.
You
You
reap what
gotta you
you sow.
gotta do you gotta do your stuff too. God's not
Yeah,
gonna just
like
say, here
there's
you go,
yeah, exactly. Like the slice of the sliver. I always say like the slice of the pie that we're in charge of is like 0.000000001%, and God does everything else. But if we're not willing to do that little sliver,
It's not gonna go. Yep.
yeah, I mean, you got. I mean, the Bible's so chock full of like talking about like the lazy man and the sluggard and the guy who wakes up late or sleeps in, goes poor or meaning like life. Much of life is work, and not just our jobs, but just you got to do what you're supposed to do,
Yep.
whatever it may be. And it's funny because like a wife is very specific in the Bible. It's like God says, "He who finds a wife," and it's like, well, the word "finds" isn't an accident. It's like,
No, he doesn't
go
say
find a wife.
God gives a wife. No, no, you gotta find.
Right. You got
Yeah,
to do your part, and the best things in life usually are not very
easy.
easy
Right,
either. And,
right, right.
you
Well,
know,
and
you do.
we're kind of getting a rabbit's hole, but that's okay because who cares? But you're kind of doing that though. So I mean, you're not doing that, but what you're doing is you're putting something ahead of everything else right now that you're really going for and you're really pushing, probably harder than you ever is, and that's your mash shop and that's your prop shop and your business. So, do you think that you know in your situation that you've been put in, this has given you a chance to do that? Do you think that that's something that God's calling you to do, to just keep pushing harder and keep grinding because that is what He has for you, and He wants to see, how hard you're going to go and how much it really means to you?
I would say yes. I mean, I wouldn't be arrogant enough to say, oh, for sure, but I would lean towards yes. Just, you don't go off a feeling a lot, but there's sometimes just in your gut, like it's like God, God is he's that still small voice. Satan's the one that screams at you, but he's
Yeah.
the still small voice, and he's subtle like that. But I've had so much revelation with all my screw ups in my past businesses just in the last month where, um, I mean, I was designing a new product just the other day, and I sat down and I broke it down to the penny on like how many ounces of this product and this and that and what I need, how much it costs, and I got it down to the penny what it would cost to make it. I've literally never done that before. I mean,
Nice.
just something like that where it's like, okay, I've had 3 different businesses and I never did that. It's like, oh, now I'm doing that, and to even think of that is interesting. But now it's like I'm. I was telling mom and dad today, it's like I haven't taken any money this year. I've made some money with the shop, but I haven't taken any. But I have actively worked harder in the last month, that being unemployed, I guess you could say, but with my shop than I was working with my day job when I had it. It's like, man, I'm pretty much beat. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so it's like the work ethic is there, and the desire is there, and the drive is there, and it's like I think downstairs I have 5 sculpts in progress right now. I've never had that many at one time, and that's actually insane.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
um, and then I have a couple molds with stuff in it, but I have things sitting there waiting to be painted. It's like I'm always working on it every day now. I would go months sometimes without doing anything. I wouldn't feel, oh, I don't feel like it,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever excuse I could come up with or that the devil would offer up and I'd just take. So no, I'm going all in like it is God's will. Like I'm trying everything. And I've
Yeah.
had a couple of very generous vendors that I know that have reached out and given me really good advice and are really like literally checking up on me and trying to help me. And so, you know, so why not? I figured I look at it as an opportunity. I got laid off, nothing I can do about that, but maybe it's a good opportunity. So
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Just keep going.
yeah, why not?
So there's a couple of things of Trump that Trump's done that I don't know if I disagree with, but you can probably, so you're a little more well versed in this than I am. Okay, I don't get the Canada thing. I don't get the Canada as the 51st state thing. I don't get it.
You want to know what that is?
Who cares? I mean, like, I don't get it.
Well, no, I if I had to guess, it's like the Gulf of America thing and stuff. The Greenland thing is sincere for like national security's sake, but the other stuff, I think there might be some good things to it, but I think it's probably about 51% of it is Trump is just straight up trolling people. I really think that. And the Gulf,
Sometimes
well,
it's hard to know, though. You know?
it's also the Gulf of Mexico thing was like we have so much coastal, however much coastal miles, and he's like, why is it Gulf of Mexico? We're just going to call it Gulf of America, and everyone has gone with it. Even Google changed it, so
Yeah,
why?
yeah. If Google changed it, you know that. Yeah,
Well,
it's
some
going
of
to
it
stick.
too is asserting like the idea of like, hey, there's a new sheriff in town. I'm not. I'm sorry about this. My phone won't charge
Yeah,
if
it's
it's
fine.
on.
It's fine.
I don't know. The thing is, Canada has definitely bullied the United States because the tariffs. If you read up on the tariffs they were charging us, are completely insane. And
Hmm.
the tariffs that are going back now are just reciprocal, meaning we're going to charge you what you charge us. and people go up in arms about that.
Well, yeah, yeah.
So it's okay if Canada or any European nations do it, but if the United States does it, Americans are mad about America getting a fair shake. It's
Well,
really quite
that's
mind blowing to
the
me.
same reason Americans are fed up with finding wasteful spending and burning car dealerships down. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, those same Americans are overnight offended at the government being audited with the wasteful spending of their tax dollars. They're offended by that, but they're not offended of the IRS auditing them personally
Right,
about
right,
their finances. So
right, right.
try and figure that one out.
The irony is amazing.
Well, it's just it's just the latest current thing to
Right.
be outraged about this. Okay, you know
It's just like high school, man. It's like, oh, it's
it
the cool
is.
thing to do. Yeah.
It is.
Did you see their little dance with their it looked like it was out of a hoedown at the old country club or something. I don't know what that was.
I mean, I'm embarrassed for them at this point, but like that's going to change someone's mind. Just
Oh
like in
yeah.
the
I
car.
mean,
Oh, you know what? I didn't get your point of view, but now that you keyed the hell out of my car, suddenly I get it.
right. Right.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's just it's also irrational and absurd, and it's just temper tantrums. That's all it is.
it is. It's temper tantrums. Yeah. It's crying about something just to cry about it, and
Of course.
that's it. And yeah, so I don't really get the candidate thing, but whatever on that. I mean, I honestly I don't want Canada as the 51st state. I can't stand Canada. So
Well,
anybody from Canada watching, I don't want you. So
well,
sorry.
Canada is not all Canadians, but a lot of Canada is very narcissistic and
Oh, of
arrogant.
course they are. Yeah, they always have
You know,
been.
everyone wants to take from the United States, but if the second, it's kind of like this, like if you every time you go out, if you take your 7-year-old to get ice cream, in his mind he thinks, okay, when we leave I get ice cream, and then you do that for 6 months in a row, and then one day you tell him no, what's he going to do? He's going to
They
freaking
flip
lose
out.
it.
Yep.
This is what that is. Canada's the 7-year-old, and they've been getting their way, and then as soon as the United States is like, hey, we want a fair shake, they lose their minds.
Mhm.
That's what you're seeing.
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is kind of funny because it's like they want to throw a fit about what we're doing, yet they are some of the most overly taxed, overly controlled people in the entire world. It's like, why don't you worry about yourselves? Like
Well, that's right, right.
worry about being told who your president is, who your prime minister is. You don't get a say. Why don't you worry about changing that instead of worrying about what, car
Or
somebody's
worried that
driving?
their prime minister freezes their bank accounts because they were doing peaceful protests. I mean,
Right, right.
they can never. It's the true narcissistic mentality where it's like never look inwardly, just look at everyone else.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
the mentality that everything that's wrong with this world is because of Trump.
right? Well, exactly. And the irony is again, those people, and I know some of them, they were miserable when Biden
Yeah,
was president, when
yeah.
Obama. They have a heart issue, and they're just in many cases just miserable, angry people,
Yes.
and they're just looking for a scapegoat.
Yes.
And this is their way to feel relevant, to say, hey, look, I'm here, I'm a good person, I'm for this thing, I changed my profile picture to a Ukraine flag because
Mhm,
I'm a good person.
mhm.
None of it's real or sincere, and that's actually sad because those people are missing something in their life, and I know what that is. But
It's just like high school. It's just fitting in. You know, it's the same thing with the pronouns, same thing with the pride crap. It's all
well, yeah,
about fitting in, you know.
it's just the next thing to
The
fit in.
next thing. Right, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. The real problem is that nobody does anything about it really. It's like, people can say what they want about Elon Musk, but like the guy's in the same boat as Trump. It's like he's a billionaire. He's got nothing to gain from this, everything to lose. And it's like, I guess if anything good came out of it, he sees exactly how they are because he was a Democrat himself.
Right.
You know,
Well, exactly. And he's obviously had death threats. His businesses get threatened, and his customers are getting attacked. I mean, but the real thing there is that you go 6 months ago. before Elon had any investment in the last election, before he spoke up, he was like the idol for the left
Yes.
because he made the electric vehicles, and he
Right.
didn't do that. He's pro gas cars too, and so he has said numerous times, you need oil, you need natural gas, you need all of it. But he was the idol for the left because the EVs, the propaganda is that, you know, oh, they're better for the environment and they save the earth and all this. So the left adored him and Tesla because they, you know, that's like 90% of the EVs on the road, and so many people on the left were like almost like in a cult mentality where it's like you know, we're going to get everyone with an EV. It's better for the environment. The oil's killing us. The gas cars are killing us, and they're obsessed with it. Well, now
Yeah.
6 months later, that's
You
just
don't.
dropped.
You don't even hear about it.
So,
Nothing.
well, yeah. So it's like so it's not true that the
Right.
EVs are better for the planet, and we have to all switch to them to save the planet. And all it's like you just dropped all that nonsense that's been peddling for years. And so that's what's hard for me. It's like so you're just again that was what you said earlier. It's like high school that was just the current thing.
It's just
And
that's
then
what it is.
now it's the next thing.
Yep.
We don't care about EVs suddenly.
No.
Now it's a boycott for Tesla.
Right.
I don't get it.
So we want to save the environment, but what we think is going to save the environment, we want to boycott.
Right. And that's what we call, or what the Bible would call, double-mindedness.
That's what I call stupidity.
Well, it's
Plain
not.
stupid.
It's
It's
being.
just.
It is, but it's also someone that's so they're ignorant and they're insincere, but they're narcissistic at the same time.
Yeah.
They don't know what they believe, but they'll believe what they think makes them look the best personally.
Right. Right.
And that's why they're constantly jumping and shifting views. And there's no sincerity in that.
Right.
So I don't know how all that works, man. I don't. I hope to God I've never been of that mindset because it's frightening.
Yeah, please never get in that mindset because that I mean it's a like you said it's a deranged mindset. It's a mindset that doesn't have God or any real no one to answer to. That's for sure. They do what they want when they want, how they want. It doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. It's all about what they call proving a point. Well, I don't even know what
Yeah.
the point is,
Well,
So
neither do they. It's just trying to look good and be heard. But what they don't understand is none of that's ever going to make them happy or give them any
mm,
kind of peace or hope or joy or certainly not salvation. And the other thing is like if they're just trying to convince everybody of something, but they could convince a million people and there could be one person that says, no, I still don't agree. And they're going to keep acting the same way until they get
yeah,
everybody. And then not going to get
yeah,
everybody. It's literally the epitome of chasing your tail.
right, right.
It's
I
kind of
think
like saying, hey, how much money is enough to make? Well, it's kind of infinite, you know?
right, right. Well, and so is the liberal mindset. It's infinitely stupid. So
Well,
uh, I
it's
think the
it's just
thing that
outrage and anger about everything. And it's like,
everything, everything.
I don't know how you walk through life like that.
I don't know either.
I
Yeah,
mean, there's just no joy in anything. It's just anger, anger, anger. And I think the main issue is there's no personal responsibility and accountability.
yeah,
And so the person they should be angry at the most, themselves, nope, we don't
yeah.
have to change that.
No,
We have to
that
change everyone else. Well, you can't change people.
right. Well, that's the funny that you say that because their number one thing is you can't tell me, you can't tell me, you need to use my pronouns, you need to do this, you need to do this for me,
But
which is
they can tell.
exactly well they can tell you what to do, but they say
And
you can't tell them what to do, and it's like
well,
what?
right. And they can even threaten you by force.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. It's like
Yeah.
how long is it gonna go until they like start shooting people or
Well,
start,
all the school shootings are done by the the far left
Oh,
typically.
I know they are.
Oh,
But it's like just, people now are so triggered just by a hat or a shirt. And it's like, you just kind of hope and pray that it doesn't start going, they've been saying civil war for a while and you kind of hope it doesn't get to that point. I mean, it'd be over in 2 seconds because your Ian cars ain't going to do nothing against what this side's got. But still, it's like you kind of worry about where it's going a little.
well, they're loud for a while and then they taper off because I think a lot of them are simply just lazy.
Well, of
Um,
course they're lazy.
yeah. Well, when even like far left mainstream media outlets are having to say hundreds protested, like Ooh,
Well,
hundreds.
that's what JD Vance said. It's like, don't you guys have jobs?
Well, no, that well, I mean, no.
Yeah, it's like
It,
no.
it's just constant outrage, constantly, and all the signs say one of five things, like you know, just the same old taglines. None of them any meat on the bone per se. It's like, oh, Elon's a fascist, or Trump's a dictator, or Elon's taking Social Security. It's just the same 4 or 5 lines, none of which are true, of course. But there's no free thought. It's just very cult-like.
Yeah, well, because it's from people that really aren't that smart, you
Yeah,
know.
or they're just
And
paid.
they're the ones who like to use the oh you're not educated, but ultimately they're the ones aren't. They're the ones living in their mom's basement when they're 50, drinking Mountain Dew and eating Doritos. So it's like they're when they do that, when they say you're not something, that's actually what they are. When they say
Right.
that you're not tolerant, they're not tolerant. When they say that you're a fascist, they're a fascist. See how this works?
Oh,
And it's like they're just
yeah.
calling the kettle black is all it ends up being.
Right. Well, and then my favorite one is they call Trump a dictator. So any good dictator, as you know, would reduce the size of his federal government,
Mhm.
would cut taxes, would try to return more tax dollars to the citizens, would give me more free market and business incentive, would secure his border, would say America first. Obviously those are dictator ideas.
I mean, that's
Clear.
how I understand it. Dictator
Right.
qualities right there. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
I remember Saddam Hussein did all that. He was,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. He wanted more for his people.
Right.
Kim Jong Un is currently doing that with.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
none of his people are starving or poor.
Yeah. I mean, that's how Trudeau worked. He was for the people
Oh yeah,
completely.
freezing their
I
bank
mean,
accounts for protesting.
yeah.
Peacefully.
So, you know,
Yeah.
it's
And
just
that's what
crazy.
I mean. Just those buzzwords or those taglines. They just say it.
Yeah.
It's just it. The meaning is not there. It's like the word racist has been so washed down since Obama brought it back. Essentially in 2008, he reignited all that garbage. Now everything's like, oh, if I'm losing an argument, well, racist. It's like,
Right. Right. Yeah. If you don't like me and I'm a different color than you, you're racist. Well, I just don't like you because you're an
well,
asshole.
I mean, even if you're not a different color at this point, like, oh, I think taxes should be cut. Racist. What? you know.
I
And
mean, yeah.
or the securing of the border is racism. It's like, well, last time I checked, those people they lock their windows and doors at night and they have a fence around their house and they don't want strangers coming in. So that racist as well.
There's a lot of good skits on Instagram about that where people will go up to, go in like Virginia, some real rich place, and have a couple of illegals with them and say, "Hey, you guys are let us watch history," and they'll say, "Hey, you guys are for legal immigration." They're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Like, okay, cool. I got my buddies Juan and Pedro here. They need a place to stay. Can they stay with you? They're illegal. They're hiding from ICE. Well, no, I can't stay with me.
No.
But you're pro immigration, right? Yeah, yeah, but they can't stay with us. Like, no, no, no,
Oh,
they got to stay with you. No, 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 they can't do that. Yeah, that
imagine that. Suddenly, it's not okay because it affects them personally.
right, right. Well, because really, ultimately, you're full of shit, and you're just saying things because you think you. Again, I said this a few times, and I've said this to my wife. Oh, social media is probably the most destructive invention of all time. I get what the point was, but like if you remember when we were kids, like when mom and dad were our age, the only people who you really knew what they thought was like neighbors and friends and family, then you'd hear stuff on the news, right? You
Hmm.
weren't on this platform where you hear every brain dead idiot in the world cussing you out because you've got a Jewish flag on your profile, or you've got this, or you've got that. Social media has made people so much dumber now than ever before, and they buy into this stuff. It's basically a 6 billion person high school, is what it is. And it's like
Good analogy.
as long as I can make some people like my thing and tell me I'm a good person, then that's what I am. Who cares if they're complete strangers that don't give two craps about you? That's what it's about. It's about being popular because ultimately that's what
Yeah.
it's about.
Yeah. Well, I have a voice, or I'm self-righteous, I'm virtuous, I made my this or that. Yeah, it's none of which they would ever say to your face.
Right, right.
Uh,
I
you
mean, do
know,
you think that people would actually talk to you in person the way they talk to each other online? It's like if mom and dad's friends back in the day had a disagreement like that, do you think that they would talk to each other the way they do now? No,
no,
it would
no.
have. It would.
Well,
You know,
people actually still, whether they voted differently or had different whatever religious beliefs, anything was different. They still respected the fact that it's another human
right,
being.
right. Well,
You
and
know,
that's what they're so good at. They're so derogatory and demeaning. They basically declass each other as human beings. Right
right?
away, it's every word in the book. It's every cuss word in the book. You know, I mean, I've seen Instagram videos where people have said, if I run into a Trump supporter, I'm going to kill him. And it's
Oh,
like,
that's smart.
what is what is wrong with you? It's crazy.
Well, because
But
they're getting away with this stuff. It's all talk there. But once if accountability was rear its head, the tune changes completely.
yeah, well, and we've experienced this firsthand on the show. We've had people lose their minds over what we've said
Uh-huh.
and go crazy, and it's like, man, you could have just turned it off. you
Well, and
know?
what was funny about those situations, like we completely explained why we're saying what we're saying, and we said we are not saying this, or we are not saying everyone, or whatever. We gave a clear explanation as to why we were saying what we were saying, what we were saying. I mean, it was as clear as day. But they cut the clip
Yeah.
and ignored that part on purpose, and it's just like, well, so you did hear it, and now you're gonna make a
Well,
video to make yourself look
right,
righteous by
right.
questioning our video, but what
Yeah.
you're not telling your audience is that you clipped the video.
Right.
So
Well, and then they get everybody on
everybody's a
their
liar.
side. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Who's the dick now? And it's like then you get everybody on your side because you show a clip that doesn't have any background behind it. Well, yeah. I mean, everybody's gonna be
Right,
like,
and
"Oh,
that's
well,
and that's the point. Is that person was all about not us or anything, but he deceived his audience on purpose
right,
to make himself look good.
right,
It was all
right,
about him, and that's
right,
when that is the drive of people. They'll do anything to make themselves look good or like a virtuous or righteous or good person amongst their peers. That's really frightening.
It's well, yeah, yeah. It is scary because you look at the caliber of people that are doing this, and it's like to take something that somebody says and twist it around just to make yourself look good.
Uh-huh.
What does that say about you?
Yeah. Well, they don't think about that. So.
Like, how pathetic and ridiculous are you to do something like that? And we're not just talking about our own personal experience. We're talking about like the media in general. They do
Oh,
this every day for a living, you know.
yeah, paid liars, and they're okay with it,
Right. Yep.
and they know they're deceiving potentially millions of people. That who cares?
Yep. Yep. Well,
It's
and
yeah.
that people that there's still people buying into it, I think, is a scary thing. And you're never going to hear the truth, but I think the Democrats are probably in the worst position they've ever been in ever
I
because
would
they've
say
just
so. I mean,
shot
at least in our life.
themselves. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I don't.
they just keep doubling and tripling down on things like people don't want the trans thing. They don't want men and women's sports. They don't want, uh, you know, open borders. They don't want pronouns. All this crap. They they don't want nonsense things in their schools, in the kids' schools. They don't want all this stuff. And people have had enough. But these people just double down. It's like, but that again, that's a narcissistic driven person because uh, they will never admit that anything they said or did or their position could have been wrong, or
Well,
that they
no,
maybe need to change or think about it. They have to double down
it's
because if they
easier to
don't
blame
double
Trump.
down,
Yeah.
that's an admission of a mistake that they had made, and they can't dare
Hmm.
admit that they made a mistake
Hmm.
or that they were wrong. So they'll
Yep.
double down to the grave. I think in many cases,
Yeah.
they're
Well, and the blame has to go to somebody, so the blame should go to Trump or it should
of
go
course,
to anybody who supports Trump. And
of
it's
course.
funny because they're so arrogant that they'll say stuff blatantly right on TV. I'll give you an example. Schumer said they inserted. He was talking. I think it was on MSNBC or one of those idiot channels, and he was talking. And he's like, they asked him about Trump, and he's like, yeah, okay, he's passed a lot of stuff. The good thing is, before he got in, we inserted over 230 federal judges to block the things he was going to do. He literally said that. And it's like nobody has that is a form of control. That's a form of taking power away from what the people voted for, which was Trump and his policies. And you're going to insert all these judges because you lost and you can't handle it to block all this stuff. So now you know why all these judges are blocking everything, because they were hand selected by the liberals, by Schumer, the penguin himself, to do this as a job. And
Well,
it's like, why is there no outrage on that?
Right. Well, but Trump's the tyrant and dictator.
Right. Who's the tyrant?
Fascist. I mean,
the dude just said he's going to block. He just put in 230 judges to block everything he does. That is against the will of the people that voted in a democracy in a fair election.
Well, and those judges know that if Trump does executive order or something, in most cases they know that them blocking something that either the Supreme Court or another court will overturn it. They know that they're just trying to stand in the way. They're just trying to slow things down, and it's just. It's really pathetic, honestly.
It is so pathetic.
It's a child throwing a tantrum. Is all it is.
Even the Supreme Court has had their problems. Roberts is a freaking pansy. You know, he's a big wuss when it comes to a lot of stuff too. He'll sit there and he'll side with some of these guys, and it's like, dude, do you remember who put you in? You know, the only reason you're a Supreme Court judge is because of who again? You know, so it's like
that was W, wasn't it? W.
Yeah, but it was still a conservative that put him in.
Well.
So, you know, at the time. But it's just stuff like that that boggles the mind. How, like you said, the backwards talk is just, as somebody who pays attention, you too, it's like, how are you so stupid to see what's going on? And I think you're right. I think they just don't want to see it, or they're just completely don't care, you know.
Well, yeah, people don't want to see it and don't care when it requires them to say that they made a mistake or they were wrong.
Yeah.
It all boils down to, pride. Because we can't dare admit that we were wrong. And that's what it is. So they just double down harder and push further and die on that hill, if you will.
Yeah.
The figurative death on the hill.
What do you think the best thing that he signed into law has been?
Oh, boy.
There's been a lot of good ones.
Yeah, I mean, securing the border has been good. It took like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Shocker. I think honestly, and I don't know where it'll go with Congress, but the executive order with the United States only recognizing two genders was brilliant. And the fact that even had to be done is
insane.
Yeah, like straitjacket worthy insane. Wow. But that's whoa. But I think it's a lot of the funding they've removed from USID and Planned Parenthood and all these garbage, corrupt, disgusting organizations. I think that's been brilliant. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I know he opened up like the pipelines. They're drilling more. I think they're going to try to replenish the oil reserves that the puppet there depleted on purpose. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things he's done. Yeah, gosh, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
There's a whole lot.
I know a lot of people are. Big ones. A lot of people are complaining that a lot of federal workers have been fired, but it's like those were the
most
ones
of them didn't do jack squat anyway.
Yeah. A lot of didn't do anything. Well, there was some, like in your neck of the woods, there was a bunch of people that got fired, and they were out there in downtown throwing a damn hissy fit, and it's like, well, you're the people who couldn't write a 2-line email on what you did last week.
Yeah. Oh my God. So, well, what I found interesting about that is how TDS is so real, Trump derangement syndrome, and now Elon derangement syndrome. think of it this way: when people get laid off in the private sector, the first thing that people, especially in the white collar side of things, do is say, "Well, that's too bad. I'm sorry for you, but all companies do it. It's restructuring, and it's
Right.
it's very common."
Right.
And that's that.
It's it. Yep.
But if the president and his cabinet restructure their federal government, let's light some stuff on fire, shall we? Let's protest. Let's get all mad. I mean, you're literally just getting mad because of who did it.
Yeah.
If someone else does it, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Oh, my employer, my last one, they literally lied to us several times that we weren't going to be last, and there were weeks later. That's just restructuring. They had to do it for the business sake. Okay, well, Oh, but the U.S. Well, let's use the IRS workers for an example. Knowing you're in a corrupt institution like that, and you're doing terrible things, and you're holding figurative guns to citizens' heads and threatening to take their homes and all this, they're going to cry when those people get laid off. I mean,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
All because it was Trump that did it.
Right.
I mean, the double-mindedness is absolutely mind-blowing. And I posted what I just said on Facebook the other day, and I know there's a lot of anti-Trump people on there. No one had anything to say. Nobody, because it's like, oh, I didn't think of that. Well, yeah, because you don't ever make a habit of thinking. You live your life based on emotion,
Right. Right.
which is,
Right.
oh, outrage, oh, outrage, oh, outrage. What are you outraged about? Trump said he's pro sushi, and I love sushi. Now I hate sushi. Like, shut the hell up. Sorry. It's
I
so
think
annoying to me.
I'm with you on those, but I think getting rid of the Department of Education is probably one of the best.
Oh, that's a great one.
Because I have little kids in school and they go to a private school, but there's always that worry of the government, because what they're doing in Oklahoma is there's a child going to school tax where they give you money to send your kids to a private school because they know how shitty the public schools are here. So they give you money to send your kids to a private school if need be. Well, one of the fears that I had and my wife had with that was, okay, well, the government, even though it's the state, the fear is, will the government hold it over your head at some point and say, you have to teach this certain transgender, blah, blah, blah curriculum to get the money, or we're going to pull the funding from the schools and then you're going to be SOL. So I went to a thing and I asked that question, and the principal of the existing school that my kids go to said, no, they made damn sure that wasn't in there, and it's like that can never be changed. It's kind of like what Trump's doing with certain things that he's put in where it's like no president can ever change this. Well, it's the same kind of thing with this tax credit that you can get where it's like it doesn't matter who's governor after stit, nobody can change it. It's law forever, no matter who comes in, Republican, Democrat, dog, horse, cat, cow, whoever it is, can never change it. So I think for anybody who can't do that are sending their kids to a god awful public school, I'm sorry for that. Um, getting rid of the Department of Education is definitely first, because where do you think it all came from? Where do you think the trans crap came from? Where do you think putting those kind of books in the library came from? Where do you think where do you think it all came from? Do you think it just came out of the mayor? No, it came from the Department of Education. There's a reason we're the dumbest country in the whole friggin' world.
Well, and then that's actually a fact because,
Mm-hmm.
again, there's outrage that we're suddenly getting rid of the Department of Education, and it's hurting students and all this. It's like, well, they lost billions of dollars, number one, but before Jimmy Carter, I believe it was, instituted the Department of
He was
Education.
good. Come on, he was good.
Oh yeah. Before he did that, we were like way up here, and then ever since we've had the Department of Education, the test scores and our overall education, we are almost last. Like
some of the worst reading skills in math schools in the entire world.
Right, but that you have to ignore that because apparently, because the Department of Education is so necessary, even though everything's gotten worse since it came into existence. Mm-hmm. But ignore that.
Yep.
It's just it's really weird because your modern far left is essentially basically supposed to be like hippies protesting against the man. But the problem is that's what the hippies did in the 60s, and they were anti-government and all that. But now your modern hippies, the far left I'd call, They want that bloated, massive government. They get mad when we cut government. It's just uh, it's just
They're
so
just
baffling to me.
they're just mad. They would be mad, like you said earlier. They would be mad no matter what he was doing. There's people that have said if Doge gave $5,000 to everyone, they wouldn't take it. You
Now
know,
that's just being a psychopath and insane.
I've heard people say that, and it's like because it comes from Trump and Elon Musk. So it's like it's not even about anything. It's about hatred. Their entire life, like you said, the hippies were about small government. They wanted less government. This isn't about that. This is about I hate one or two people,
Mhm.
and that's what I'm going to run it off of. It doesn't matter what they do. And he said that. He said that right in front of Congress. He's like, there's nothing I can do to win you people over. So he's already reserved himself to that. He already knows that. So it's
Yeah,
like I'm going to do what I
so
want.
just
I'll
do what
give
you
it
want.
do what you need to do,
Yeah,
do what you campaigned on, fulfill all your promises. Like I said before, as long as he signs an executive order to everything that he said he was going to do, he's done his part. If a stupid federal ass judge comes and denies it and the Supreme Court goes along with him, how's that Trump's fault?
it's not.
It's not. So he did everything that he said he was going to do. And I think he's getting pretty damn close to fulfilling a lot of the stuff that he said he was going to do. Department of Education was one, borders were one, all these things. So it's
Mhm.
like, you knew this. You knew this was coming. The thing that gets me the most are the people that voted for him who are backtracking.
Are there any of those though?
I think there's a few, maybe a few. The hard thing is on like Instagram stuff, a lot of it's satire. So you got to watch the whole thing. I watched this one where the guy, it was one of those ones where they cut it, the DEI or whatever it was, and he's like, I just got laid off. It was this big project. We were gonna find out how many licks it actually took to get to the
Oh yeah,
center
I've seen that.
to do
Yeah, no, he had me fooled at first. Too. I'm like,
the one.
what
And
the
the
heck? And
funny
then,
thing is, like all these comments were before he got to the point. So I
yeah.
got on there. I was like, "You idiots! This is satire. You have to watch the whole video."
Well, it's amazing how many people comment on anything before just go
Watch the
off
whole
the
thing.
headline.
Right, right.
Imagine if you did that off of Babylon B. Like if you don't know their satire,
Oh man, yeah.
well, satire. I mean, a lot of them they say is dead on, but
Babylon B doesn't need to use satire. All it is fact anymore, and they just throw
yeah,
it out there because it's so
yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, it's
So
it's weird because, like you said, they hate Elon and Trump, and now they hate RFK. They hate everybody that's pro-Trump or helping them in any capacity, Tulsi Gabbard, whoever it may be. But what I've noticed with people on the left, even some people I know, it's like they're always like anti-hate. I mean, they would ultimately go out there and talk about, well, he's for hate and this, and they hate LGBT. So they're anti-hate, but then they openly say, yes, we hate these guys. So it's like, well, so your hatred of him is okay, but you also hate him because you think he hates these people.
they
How does
hate
that
that.
work?
Okay, so they hate that he won't go along with them.
Right.
That's what they hate.
Well, they hate him as a
But
person.
you know what else they hate the most? Themselves. They hate themselves the
Oh,
most.
absolutely.
So they have to take that and they have to redirect that hatred onto somebody else. Someone that's big enough to blame all their problems on. But
Of course.
ultimately, it's a lack of what you said earlier. It's a lack of God, it's a lack of structure, it's a lack of common sense, it's a lack of having that little thing in your head that says, "Hey dummy, this is dumb. Don't do it." That's what
For
it
lack
is.
of hurt, yeah. Well, exactly. And there's no personal responsibility,
No conscience,
no conscience.
no regard for anybody but yourself. Again,
All right.
we've said this so many times. It's the religion of self. People that believe in this stuff and do this stuff have a religion of self because what is their ultimate thing? This affects me. You need to obey my pronouns. You want to
Yeah,
believe
it's
I'm
all
the
me.
comedian. Right. You want to believe I'm the comedians I've said that says you can call yourself whatever the hell you want. That doesn't mean I gotta call you that.
Yeah, there's more and more popping up. It's great.
Right.
Comedy's back.
Comedy's back. And it's like that's ultimately what they hate. They hate themselves. And they hate it just like a child that say, when you say you can't have the ice cream, they hate it that somebody's telling them no.
Right.
That's what they hate. They threw a fit, and it's not just Trump. Let's be real here. They were throwing a fit about Trump when he wasn't even president, had no power, wasn't even around. Biden was giving them everything they want, and if anything to go wrong, it was Trump's fault, even though
Well,
Biden
that's
did it.
right. They were
because
when
they
Biden
need
was
the hate.
well, that's the thing. When Biden was president, they were still just focused on Trump. So it's like,
Right. Right.
it's really weird, and it's just the obsession,
That's right.
and it's like, and you're right. Like, misery loves company. It's that
Mhm.
that's that idea too. But
Yep.
the idea that they blame every issue in their whole life on Donald Trump. It's like, okay, what was your issue before 2016? Because I guarantee you were still miserable
Right.
before
Right.
Trump came around. Essentially,
You know.
it's like, that is so insane. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, we didn't exactly enjoy the Obama years and the Biden years,
No.
and
Pretty
there
much.
were some stuff affecting our lives that, I mean, a few things here and there that maybe affected our lives for the negative. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if Obama was president, you and I still had to wake up and we still had to take responsibility for our own lives.
Right.
And we still have to go to work. We still had to clean our houses. We still have to get gas in the car. We still have to help other people. We still have to do everything. And we still have to take responsibility.
Yep.
And if we make a mistake, we made the mistake. If I woke up in 2009 and I cussed somebody out and did something terrible, that's not Obama's fault. That's
Yeah.
my fault.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just the lack of accountability and personal responsibility is just mind blowing to me.
Well, the thing is too.
You know,
So what happened the last 4 years did directly affect everybody, but they just throw it against the wind. They throw it,
right?
say, and that's inflation. Inflation went higher than it's gone in a long time, and stuff's out of control, and it's stayed out of control because it takes a while to get it back down. If it ever does go down, it might just level out. That's probably the best you can hope for, because usually when stuff goes up, it doesn't come back down. You just hope that it levels off. But that's all Biden's fault. But you have no problem looking over that. You know,
Of course,
I mean, they would even use the excuse. So they're throwing a fit, right? When stuff's too expensive, when eggs are $10. But when somebody says I'm gonna vote for Trump, oh, it's because you can't afford to pay for the $10 eggs or the $4 gas and blah blah blah. It's like you were just bitching about that before the election. You were
that's the
crying
thing.
that you're sitting there in your New York apartment because that's where most of these idiots are. Um, and you're that or San Francisco. San Francisco, you make six figures a year. You have to live in your car because a house is $6,000 a month. Um, but the point is, it's like you were sitting here bitching about this and complaining about it, but all of a sudden, because Trump's up for election, you can look it over. Apparently, your hatred also pays your bills. Awesome.
That's just it. That is their motivation with everything they do in their life, is their hatred for Donald Trump. Even
Right.
something like buying eggs, it is literally consume them,
Right.
and it's all they talk about. We have an aunt that does this.
Yep.
It is literally all they talk about. I mean, when Grandma Henry was on her deathbed, literally, guess what our aunt was talking about?
Politics.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, as an example.
Yep.
And Dad won't get annoyed that I brought that up because he knows.
He does know.
But it's just,
That's the
that
thing, though.
is was
That's
such
what
a,
controls them. That's their life.
yes,
Dan,
it
I
is
haven't talked about
everything to them.
I haven't talked about top politics with Dan, and I mean, we talked a little bit about it a little bit when you were out here a couple of weeks ago. But I don't talk about politics with anyone other than my mom, my dad, and my wife, and my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law. That's it. Those are the only people I talk politics with. And you're getting a little tiff with, and I shouldn't do that, but you might get in a little tiff with somebody on Facebook or Instagram. But again, the best thing to do with that shit is just not respond, because
But
it's
you
like
have to just, if you see something, you just keep scrolling, or
scroll
just
past it,
scroll less.
because you're talking to people who don't have a fully functional brain. All they live off of is hate
Right.
and trying to
Well,
prove their point is the only way, and that you are not only a lesser person, you're an educated person, you're basically one step above pawn scum. So there's no reason
exactly.
to argue with somebody like that.
Well,
you
yeah,
know
it's a, you're, what happens is you get brought down to their level, and
right,
you do
right.
something dumb, and it's not possible for us to change their minds, and that's not our goal in life anyway. We
Right.
don't change their hearts, their minds, their souls, their view. 99.9% of the time, even responding to any of that is just a complete
Pointless.
waste.
It's pointless.
And it just makes you mad. And it's like, and I still struggle at times where it's like, man, I just need to not do that.
Yep.
That's why on my business page I have an Instagram, and the things I follow through my business page are other vendors, biblical things, and like a vintage, like old Halloween and Christmas stuff,
Yeah.
and that's it. And it's like a social media sanctuary because it's just fun stuff, special effects, monsters and Stan Winston stuff, or sculptors or something like that. It's so nice being on there because I don't follow anything political,
Oh, make
and
sure you
and
don't get in there.
I don't see anything political on there ever, and it's just. I mean, I don't even follow anything pro-Trump. Like there's literally nothing political in there.
Yeah.
Then I get on Facebook, and within 8 seconds, I want to just like take a hammer to my phone.
Facebook might be the worst one. It might be the worst one. Yeah.
It is. It's because all the getting older millennials now that have been on there since 2009 or so, all the far left millennials are on there just griping and bitching. And that's all you see. And it's like, I hate it. Even on my business Facebook, in the feed, it'll pop, political crap pops up. And I'm just like, I don't follow any of that.
Right.
Why is CNN popping up on my business Facebook page?
That's on purpose.
Well, it is. And it's like, because the good thing is I realized on Instagram, when you post on Instagram, you can also do the same post on Facebook at the same time.
Yep.
And so I just post mostly on there through Instagram. And that's like, okay, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
But man, it's just
the
sick stuff too, and then the insanity on Facebook, and it's just like, who is this really helping, or whose mind is getting changed with all this? It's all just a bunch of noise. It's just nonsense.
Well, and that's what the devil wants. He wants you to be distracted with it. He wants you to look at it. He wants you to get pissed off at it. He wants you to start and confront somebody and get into it with them and, ruin your day. And you get all mad and take it out on your kids because you got in a fight with some idiot from Boston. And it's like, who cares?
Well, that's I mean, exactly right. And you're right. It hurts the other things in your life, and then it takes your focus away.
Exactly. It hurts you and the people around you. It does. You think the idiot in Boston gives a crap? No, he's happy. He's happy because he got exactly what he wanted, and that's for you to fly off the handle because we're supposed to be better, which we are, and we're supposed to rise above that. We're supposed to, have Christ-like in us, Christ in us, and not act like that and not jump to the way those people are. The worst thing you can do is get in a shouting match with somebody like that because you're doing exactly everything that you shouldn't be doing,
Right.
So we can sit down here and bitch about it, but we just bitch about it. Why do you think I didn't have a couple of dumbasses on this show? You think I'm going to sit here and debate a couple of dumbasses who I can't change their mind? Are you kidding me?
That's insane. Pointless.
That's insane.
But because that's what a lot of people are trying to do is their intent is to change your mind. And
their intent is to change your mind. Mm-hmm.
There are people out there that maybe they don't agree politically or whatever, but they'll sit there and they'll just be very respectful and kind, and they'll just have a conversation, and they'll admit if they didn't think of something, or they'll admit if they were wrong, or say, no, I really want to hear what you think, and they're not out to change your mind. They're just trying to open their mind to be receptive to information or ideas or things like that. And albeit that's rare.
Yeah,
but I never want to say it's everybody that.
Honestly, there is no reason in my opinion, there's no reason for average citizens to go and debate each other about politics and stuff. You want to do that, go in a freaking debate class or go be a politician. That's the only time I think it's, because it's going to get nasty. And it's mostly going to get nasty from the left, and that's just a fact because they can't control themselves.
Well, because they all see themselves as like these heroic activists. They see themselves as Superman.
They're educated.
Well, right, yeah. But they see themselves as educated Superman. And so it's like they think that a Donald Trump supporter is evil. They think that. They think a Christian or a Jewish person is evil.
Right.
They think anyone they even think that old school Democrats like Bill Maher, for example, they think they're evil.
Yeah.
If you are not with us fully, you are against us.
Right.
And it's like, you can't, oh my gosh, that's, whew. And old Bill Maher, he's going to really be in trouble because he went to the White House and had dinner with Trump. And because Kid Rock set it up, it's pretty funny actually.
Man.
And I always give credit where due, and I good for Bill Maher, like having
I
that.
mean,
But
there's a lot
he,
of people like that who've done that. Joe Rogan has gone complete 180 too. Joe Rogan
yeah,
used to be a liberal. He said that. He's like, I used to be a Democrat. I used to be a San Francisco Democrat.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, San Francisco Democrat no more.
Oh no. Well, because what happens is like it's that, and we all do as humans, but like we can have a view, but if we suddenly change it and then people lash out, people that we love or trusted turn on us,
Yeah.
that effect on us,
Well,
it just all the bells go off,
and what you
and you're
just said
like,
is the
well, wait a
exact
minute,
reason. That's the exact reason why you don't have to debate anybody because you don't need to. Because the
right,
people that want to listen and want to see what's really going on and aren't blinded by hatred will see what's going on. They're saying, I'm out of there. I don't want no part of that crap. I'm
right,
going to go on this side. And those are the smart people. Those are the smart people who were for like the Bill Clinton Democrats, who were,
right, right.
you know, closed borders. They were more,
There
I
was
suppose,
common sense still and
right.
some
Like
respect still.
like if you look at Clinton now, Clinton's almost a conservative the way he was back in
Oh
92.
man, other
You
than
know,
his scandals and his abortion stuff, he was pretty
right.
watered
He
down.
really
I mean,
was. He wasn't as, I mean, you look at him now, he actually wasn't that bad compared to the way they were. I would have never voted for him still, but what I'm saying is the guy's at least at the minimum a moderate right now. The
oh
way,
yeah,
the
well,
way,
and that type of Democrat is pretty rare. I mean, you got guys like Joe Manchin,
yeah,
or
yeah.
even like Bill Maher, or I mean, I'm having trouble
I
thinking
mean,
of
I
others.
mean, even the even
There's
even
not a
the
lot
dude
of
who
them.
can't, even the dude who doesn't wear a suit anywhere and wears a hoodie and shorts and can't think and looks like freaking Uncle
John
Fester.
Fetterman.
I mean, even you got to give that dude credit. He's a train wreck, but man, he's got more common sense than most of them.
Well, he he does, and he even went to Mar-a-Lago and met with Trump. I mean, you have to. That's the thing, though, is just because you don't agree with someone on everything doesn't mean you can't give them credit. I think
Right,
I
right.
think if someone is way off on everything, but they say one thing, it's like that's right. It's like give credit for that. I think you should
Yeah,
do that.
I give him credit because I thought he was a complete idiot, but
Hey, he's
it
really
seems
not. I mean,
he's
he's
really
a lot
not.
smarter than we thought.
But that's what the media made him out to be. They made him out to be a complete idiot because he didn't fall in line with what they want.
Well, right. They
Yeah,
turned on him. I mean,
yeah, I turned on him.
and old Bill Maher's gonna.
And they were starting to turn on Bernie too, but Bernie's gone completely way of the dodo. He's got with the smartest human being in the world now, going to
Oh
Greeley.
well.
And old Bernie, he's lost it completely. He's completely gone. So
Oh, he's a straight up socialist.
I will tell you one more thing. We'll do
That's
one more thing here before one other thing besides Trump that I'm excited about, and I want to see more of, is RFK. I want to see more of what he's doing. I know there was some stuff with him and the CDC with the vaccines and stuff, so that's all good. And I know he wants to get rid of like all pharmaceutical commercials, period,
and he
which would be
should. Oh my god.
fantastic. But I really am very excited to see what he's going to do. So hopefully it all works out. I mean, I wish he'd kick red dye 40 and all the dyes out of everything. I wish he'd require everyone to use beef tallow if you're going to be fast food. I wish he'd do all that stuff, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know that's his. I think he's very, very driven. I mean, he's said many times that he literally asked God, he prayed to God to put him in a position to do exactly what he's doing now for like what, 18 or 20 years. I mean, like
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
So
And
I think he's
also
motivated.
a former Democrat.
I mean, the stuff, the venom that they turned on him and his own family
Oh,
mostly.
his own family turned on him.
Yeah,
All his
like
brothers and sisters basically said, "We don't want nothing to do with you."
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you
Crazy.
think about it, it's really interesting because I say this with a lot of all Christians are born again, but there's Christians that are from day one, they're raised in the Christian church. It's all they know, and they grab onto it in their teens and they run with it, and they're a Christian. But then there's people that like are atheist or Muslim or
Mm-hmm.
something, and then at the age of 45 they come to Christ suddenly. Those
Yep.
people always get it more
Oh
they
yeah.
than the people that have been a Christian from day one because they've been on the other side.
Yeah.
And I would equate that with people in politics that you look at RFK Donald Trump himself, Tulsi Gabbard, Elon. The list is
Yep.
a mile long.
Yep.
All ex-Democrats. They know how that side operates. They know the ins and the outs of it.
Yeah.
And so now that they've gone on the other side, those are the perfect people for the job.
Absolutely.
They're more driven, and they've all gotten death threats. They've all gotten.
Yeah.
Everyone's turned on them. I mean,
Yeah.
these people have everything to lose, and they all could retire. They all could go live on an island somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in it for money or power. They're in it because they get it, and God's using them.
Right.
You know, it's pretty wild if you think about it. I mean,
Yeah. No.
the most driven people there are now because Elon Musk. I mean, he can go buy an island and just have everything he needs there and just be never heard from again. But he's not.
So could Trump.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
RFK's rich. I mean,
RFK's rich. Yeah.
they're willing to put their butts on the line. It's just like, well, that's how you know it's a God thing, man.
Yeah. It's got to be. It's got to be for sure. So no. To answer the question, we do not regret voting for Trump.
Oh hell no!
So
couldn't even do it as a joke.
Little April Fools there for you. So. Like, I mean, if you ever watched this show, if you thought that was actually going to be a yes on there, you really been paying attention, have you?
Man, that's crazy. That's lunacy.
All right, man. Good stuff. We will do this again next week. Try to be more consistent. A lot of that's my fault. So things have been
That's all
crazy.
good.
So we'll come up with something new to talk about next week. I don't know what yet, but Dan and I'll come up with something. This feels weird to be on YouTube. I haven't been on YouTube in it's been a while. Long time.
You need a break sometimes, man.
Nah, I can't deal with those toy nerds, man. God.
Are you still getting it? I mean, you're still monetized, or is there still anything like?
It's still monetized, but I haven't put a video in there in like 45 days.
Oh wow!
I can't take their shit anymore.
Well, no, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't with that.
Like it's just not.
See, that's what's weird is like there are some, but like the sculpting, like monster making, prop mask making crowd isn't that bad. They're not very toxic.
Never get
really
the toy community
because there's a lot of
the toy community is about as toxic as you can get. There's some nice people, yeah, but there's more a-holes in the toy community.
Is it as bad as the wrestling community? The IWC, as they call it, the Internet Wrestling Community.
The Internet Wrestling Community. They actually call themselves that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one thing about them. We should do a show on this. Those are the cringiest ass videos of the reactions to like Raw and SmackDown ever.
Well, why is that even a video?
Some of those people, like there's one guy, the one dude with the beard and stuff. He's cool, but the rest of them, they're like, there's this blonde girl. Those are what they do is they turn off the comments, so you can't tell them how awful they are.
Of course.
So, those reaction videos where they sit and they watch SmackDown or Raw for like 3 hours and they're reacting to everything. Oh, they're the worst. Those got to be the worst videos on all YouTube.
Well, why do we need to watch their reaction? Like, I get the reviews.
I don't know,
because there's reviews for everything.
The review's fine. Like Russell Talk's fine because Russell Talk's a review of of Raw or SmackDown or AEW, like anybody watches AEW.
No.
But it's a review of what happened. It's not the real time. Oh, here we go. It's John Cena. Yeah, it's like.
It's almost as cringe as well, not quite, but it reminds me of the people that film themselves reacting or getting mad to something that Trump did. So it's like you're taking the time to set up the cameras,
right,
and then you hit record and like,
yeah.
Is there a director in the background saying action?
That wasn't good enough. We need more crazy. Come on.
So like that one girl in a car smacking the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Like, it may have been Adam Carolla or somebody saying like, what if you don't like that take? You just do it again and then you get mad.
That's exactly what's happened.
How does that work?
I've made countless videos where I've had to do multiple takes, and so have you. And it's like, oh well, that wasn't crazy enough. Let's go a little more. I'm gonna pull a hair out of my mustache and make myself cry. That'll sell it.
Yeah, like exactly. Like that is like.
No, man, it's just.
Can you be any more
too much? And I'll clearly admit I've done videos where it's like a reaction to Hasbro, and I've gone nuts, and I've been stupid with that and cried about what is a plastic action figure because my gosh, this is life, So,
Clearly.
but it's like the YouTube is exactly what I said about social media because YouTube's part of social media. You've given access to every dumb moron on God's green earth to have an opinion. It's a horrible idea.
Well, and that's again, that's why you be selective on the pages you subscribe
And the
to.
thing is, the most of them just want to attack you. It's an attack.
Oh yeah.
It's not about what you're reviewing, what you're talking about. It's your music's too loud, bro.
Even with
Or
toy videos, they're doing that.
what?
Even with toy
Yes.
videos.
Yes, I had
Huh?
one guy tell me, "Oh, your videos are cool, but you got to tone down the music cuz I thought I was going to get epilepsy and have a seizure." Well,
Did
then
he know
turn
the
it off.
volume on his phone or his computer or his tablet? He can
Freaking
turn it down.
turn it off, you idiot. I don't need you to watch the video. If this is going to cause you to have a seizure, then turn the shit off. It's just the stupid crap like that that's like it's so or the people that correct you like I had this transformer and I didn't call it the proper name. You don't know anything. You're the most uneducated toy reviewer on YouTube. It's you didn't pronounce it right. I got two words for you that I know how to pronounce right.
The last one is you.
Yes. And the first one is fudge.
Yeah.
So
It's just it's complete insanity.
it's just like we don't really get any comments on that because there's like 4 subs on this channel.
Sometimes that's not bad.
I agree because it's just a chance for you and I to talk about stuff. That's all it's
Right, yeah, and you get certain people in here, and it'll.
That's right. It'll be every little stupid thing.
Well, you know what's weird is like my 100 Monster Designs Facebook. It's got like my business page on there. It's almost 5,700 follows and like 5,300 likes or whatever. I've had I think 3 negative comments ever in 4 years, and they were all on when I sculpted that Jason mask, and I changed the hockey mask to the original hockey mask when they invented it in the 60s. I got rid of all the dots, the 6 holes, and I put a slash like the
Oh,
original real life hockey mask. Those 3 or 4 people absolutely lost their minds
yeah.
because I even said I responded saying, which I shouldn't have done. I said, well, I gave him the link and the name of the inventor. I said, this is how they were in the 60s, and I'm just changing it to make it different. I don't care how it is. I don't care if that's what it was. But then the same people would complain because it's the same old thing if I did
Right.
it the same way. So it's like, that's why I don't make stuff for movies very often. Thankfully, with my Pumpkinhead, I never got any backlash. But when you make stuff for movies and you make it different, they have a problem. But if you make it the same, well, why do we need another one of these? There's
Yeah.
10,000 Ghostface masks
Yeah.
or Jason from Friday the 13th Part 7 or whatever. Well, that's why I just don't make it then. I'll make my own stuff and
Right.
I use my own ideas. Now, granted, I may lose sales because of that because, the movie stuff sells, but it's just,
Yeah.
you
They're
know,
called trolls, man. And I kind of didn't take my own advice there. If you're gonna have YouTube, Instagram, whatever you're gonna have, you have to find a way to ignore it. But it does
you
piss
do.
you off. It does make you mad. And man, there's times I've fired back and I probably shouldn't have, but it's like,
It's hard not to, I'll be honest.
it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough not to do. When somebody says you suck, you want to say like, you know what, you suck more. How's that? You know?
Well, and they do because you think of a person that has to take the time to do that. Like they literally took the time to watch a video
Yeah.
and comment
Yeah.
on what you did wrong. But A, that's just irrational and makes no sense. But B, where's their video?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. You will get it. Well, except in the toy community because they like to trash each other. But you will get because it's all about being on top there. When you're a guy who has to sit there and big back that you got 500,000 subs and nobody can have a bad comment or have a negative opinion about you because I've been here 17 years and I have 500,000 subs. I mean, okay,
Wow.
good for
It's,
you.
he
That's great.
subscribed to his own channel 500,000 times. That was all him.
You created 500,000 accounts? Oh man.
Wow. That's,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
So I don't know. I don't know. We'll keep doing this. My other channel, who the hell cares? I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe one day.
Maybe
I
one day.
just haven't felt the need to do it. So
Can't blame you.
Yeah, and I'm lazy. I hate editing. Editing sucks. So, you know. But,
I barely edit when I do stuff.
yeah, I need to go back to that. Like,
If I film myself for like my prop channel, like I'll do the speed up, and it's like, okay, I got like an 18-second video, and that's
yeah,
it.
no, they're
And I
good
like
too.
that.
Yeah, yeah, you're doing good, and you get the music. Yeah. Like you had Ghost on that one on Instagram today. Yeah,
Yeah, Michael
yeah,
Jackson. I
yeah.
did
I got
notice when you add like copywritten music, like you can do it, but I notice I get a lot of less views, and I don't really know if that.
so try adding it through Instagram. Don't add it into your video during editing.
Oh,
Put
I
it on
don't.
Instagram.
That's what I do. I add it through
Oh,
Instagram.
okay. Same thing with YouTube. Like you can add the music and it won't get copyright. And like I could throw Disturbed or something or Metallic or something
Yeah,
onto it and it won't copyright it. But if you do it the other way and you add the music on InShot, you'll get a copyright.
right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So okay, well we've gone on. Maybe hey, I think that's a good idea. I think let's go and I think he'll have enough experience in this. Maybe we could do a show on the catch y'alls of YouTube. That'd be a good one. Things to watch out for if you're a new YouTuber. I've always wanted
Works
to do a
for
video
me.
like that.
I can use all the education I can get on that one.
Well, there's a lot of negatives. So,
Oh well, you know.
all right, guys. Well, we're gonna go. So we'll see you next week. Bye. Damn it! Didn't work again. I